Hello and welcome back to Style Your Confidence podcast. And as you can see, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, we have a special guest with us today. So this is Cathryn, and Cathryn has gone from being homeless at the age of 18 to graduating at Cambridge University with a second class honours to launching her own property investment company in February 2024, taking it to the 30k in revenue within the first month at 24 years age. Just 5 months later, she expanded internationally with her partner Brad, and within another 2 months, she became a partner of Damac, Dubai's leading multi-billion international private developer selling luxury off-plan developments to investors. And on top of that, she co-owns a digital marketing agency with her partner. To say this woman is incredible, from going from rock bottom to doing a complete 360 on her life, is just incredible. And I can't wait for you to hear her story. So without further ado, welcome Cathryn. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Emma. It's so lovely to be here. And yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm just really excited as well. And gosh, what an introduction. Just hearing it. Honestly, I'm so honored just to be here and to be invited to your podcast and just the overall message of it, inspiring confidence in other people and to be a part of that is just absolutely amazing. And I'll be honest, I can't believe that I'm right here telling my story to you and other people. I'm just 18-year-old me would not believe this.
It's really amazing to have you. And I just thought, because your story is so inspiring and it's so amazing, and I just feel like the whole world just needs to hear this story because it's just incredible. And yeah, obviously, on a confidence level, it's just insane what you've been through and how you've just turned your whole life upside down. So, yeah. Anyway, so obviously, you are Cathryn. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, firstly, this is going to be unexpected after the whole business side of things have been mentioned, but I actually love to sing. I just thought I'd start there. Unexpected,
Love
giving you the
that.
clue.
Absolutely love
And
that.
yeah, I've loved ever since I was 5 years old. I've always loved singing. It was definitely a family, sing in front of the family
Yeah.
and when I didn't want to. But even then, that was starting to build my confidence from a very young age. Even though I didn't want to at first, but performing and more recently, what I'll go into in the podcast about, becoming homeless, my performances, whenever I get the chance, like when I was at uni or in school or college, I'd always rise up to the opportunity to sing so that I could, for me, it was about letting my heart spill and connecting with the audience, and letting that message, whether it was really emotional or just I'm overjoyed just to be here, be alive. I know that's really deep. That's a big, big, big part of my life. And it's something that I don't talk about often because, you know me as I'm in business and
Mm.
but it's something that I thought I'd start with because it's been a centerpiece of my life and um without getting too deep here. Oh, it was actually like my dad who introduced music to me. So, so yeah, it's at my safe space. So
It's
thought I'd
amazing
start.
though, because music is so powerful. Like, honestly, even if you're in like a really like crappy mood for the day or something, you can listen to something upbeat and it will just put you in such a different headspace. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah. And the fact as well that you sing is just incredible. And it's just like letting your emotions go, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. I love that. I love how you put that. Letting your emotions just run and not having to just contain or what have you,
Yeah.
which in business, it's important to, keep almost sometimes people say like keep control of your emotions and
Mm.
logic, but that's another conversation. But just to answer your question, like another, I feel like this is really random how I'm saying this, but I love building an emotional sort of connection. Like, I love building relationships with people. And that is, for me, that is why I do business. Like, whether or not we make a sale, whether or not a deal goes through in property.
Mm.
Brad and I actually have this line about it's about winning the relationship with the customer, even if you lose the sale, because that is more
Love that.
important above anything. But yeah, I love building connections, hanging out with friends, being in the online space as well, connecting with like-minded individuals, and even family time as well is huge for me. I'm sure we'll go through with your questions later, but having the last 6 years, I've basically spent a lot of it on my own or like with friends or like with friends' mums, and now I'm living with my partner and his beautiful, beautiful family. And I've got that family environment that I just haven't had for so long. And that means a lot to me. So I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, overall, I guess people, it sounds weird saying this, but people describe me as like quite sunny, quite energetic,
Yes.
and confident as well. But I have to, honestly, I can't sit on this podcast, Emma, and say, oh yeah, like I've always had that. Because no. And also, it's a constant, you've seen on, our membership calls.
Mm.
It's some days I'm like, oh my God, my confidence, like, where are you?
Yeah.
Like seriously, I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out to say something. But like, I feel like that is just that's part of life. You're
Yeah.
always building.
It's
So
the journey. I know
yeah.
it's like that
Mhm.
word, the journey, but it is
Yeah.
the whole confidence thing is the journey. You've got to work on it and keep working on it because it's not something that just is going to come naturally to everyone. So,
Mhm.
and obviously you go through certain things in life that confidence massively, could get impacted or get knocked or, because that's life, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll also add as well that we've actually got the same business coach.
Yes.
So we are in the same membership. So um with each other. So I just thought I'd add that one in there. But yeah, no, 100% agree. And as well, when I first met you, which was what, back in August, you are
Yeah.
literally like a ray of sunshine.
Oh,
You are just you were
oh, Emma.
like this bubbly
Oh.
person. And I was like, who is this girl?
Oh, no, honestly, with you, one word just comes to mind and it's just beautifully calming. I know it's two, but really calming and soothing energy. And it's a big thing myself. I'm very energy based,
Mm,
but like, I just, even during this podcast, the way I'm talking, it's like in sales, they say it's mirroring, but I feel like my tone is a lot slower compared to if I was talking to someone else. Like, you're so
yeah.
soothing to be around.
Do you
So
know what? Someone actually said that to me because I have another YouTube channel. And so I do like all fashion, obviously, on that YouTube channel. And someone turned around and said to me, she was like, you have one of those voices that's just really calming, like those ASMR videos that you get.
yeah.
She said, you're like that. She said, your voice is just so nice and just like chilling and like soothing. She said, that's probably why people just enjoy watching you. So yeah,
Oh.
you're not the first person to have said that to me. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully then it's really good for a podcast.
yeah. No, I was thinking that on the mic there. It's all about the personal brand. So
Yeah,
yeah, gosh.
definitely. Yep. Okay, amazing. So that's a little bit about yourself. So I kind of want to take you back to when you were 18 and you were at sixth form in your final year, like you were preparing for your exams and you were made homeless. How did you feel in that moment? Like, what happened? Because your whole life just went upside down.
Oh my God. So firstly, I'm just gonna say that this whole scenario feels like another life. I mean it was, but I genuinely do forgive me if some of this is broken up or a bit fragmented because like saying a sentence, oh yeah, and then it went like this. Obviously like I have spoken out about it up actually more recently this year. I've actually got a page on Instagram, it's Cathryn Olivia Bell, and that's where I've started talking about my story, and it's not necessarily sales related, it's literally just part of sharing my story in case other girls are there, but who have gone through the same. But For me, that time, I d- I'm not the same person as the Catherine then. So I'm kind of like looking through a lens, but
Mm.
it was an absolute, to say the least, to say it was a shock to the system, it was a shock to the core, to my soul. Who expects it? I was not expecting it. I was obviously 18 and had my A levels at the time. At the time, I was doing biology, chemistry. I'm such a nerd, by the way. I
There's
do
some hard
Latin as well.
subjects. Oh my goodness, they are some hard subjects.
They weren't my cup of tea, apart from the ancient history. I know it's because, like, growing up in that sort of background where part of my family did like medicine, so they were like very
Got
heavily
you.
influenced.
Yep.
And I didn't really, I felt like I couldn't be heard. Again, back to the confidence, but a lot, like, just to have had, like, being, I was so shy at 18. Like, I remember the time the school I was in, they let me know. It's actually them who let me know. So it wasn't like it was my parents. Um, and I was just, I was in a state. Obviously it wasn't really, I'm not going to go into that, but it wasn't really a fault of my own. It was like I was a
Mhm.
collateral of something else.
Got you.
So, at that point, what are you meant to do? Like, I'll be honest, I'll say it straight. I didn't even have a bank account open.
Gosh.
And it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I'd never like I very, very flippin' fortunate and grew up in an environment where like I didn't work at the
Mm.
time. Like, boy, did I make up for that. But yeah, I didn't, I just had never, it's not something that I did. I was very lucky growing up in that respect, but I was in an all-girls school. As far as I knew, life was just go to school, get good grades, please your parents.
Yep.
Um, and then like that happened, especially so soon. Like, if I'd have sat my A levels then, especially like subjects I wasn't really in tune with, like the sciences, I think I just would have failed. Like, I genuinely, so that, I mean, oh God. What do you want to know? Like, that's emotionally, I just was not there, and I was living literally, can I get through the morning? Can I get through
Mm.
the afternoon? Like, sitting in the school's teacher's office with, like, I'm not sure if you've seen my Instagram, that on the reel, I took a photo of like bin bags with like all my stuff.
Oh gosh.
Um, it was freaking nasty. I swear. Flipping Emma. Oh my God. Yeah, it wasn't nice. But that's, for me, that was when I kind of like experienced, okay, this is life. Like, this, it's not the everyday, but I've just had something massive, and I've got two choices. I've either, and this wasn't something that I made overnight, this was after, a lot of support and help, but I could either have gone down the route of some people have even asked, like, I'm surprised, did you take anything? Or you could have gone off the rails. And
Oh
I was
gosh,
like,
yeah.
to this day, like, and I had scary thoughts, like, what you meant to do in that position.
Mm.
Um, or I could have just, and I'll go into this more with you with the questions, but followed my gut instincts, and it's that logic, putting logic first, and just what do we need to do to make it to the next step.
That's literally
Easy answer.
insane in the fact that obviously, like, when you said someone turned around and said to you, like, did you take anything or anything like that, you could have easily like fallen down that spiral of
My
just
headmistress, no, I'm not even joking.
really,
Oh yeah.
oh my goodness.
Oh no, I didn't put this on Instagram.
Okay. I mean, at least she was looking out for you in that sense. But to have that conversation with your headmistress, that's not very
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
She brought it up because I was like, like, for me, again, this is why I think subconsciously I started the podcast with music, because for me, and again, I'll explain later, music has been my freaking, oh, I wish I could say another word right now, freaking superpower. I'm
say the
not
word if you want to
joking.
say the word.
Yeah. People are like, how have you done it? yeah, I've got no words because yeah.
It's mad. It's almost like you've gone into like fight or flight mode in that situation. It's almost like, what do I do to get out of it? And it's like, do you think emotionally? Do you think logically? It's like, what head do you put on to think, how do I get out of this situation? And it must be like, obviously, I generally couldn't understand what that even felt like because obviously I've never been in that situation. But yeah, for you to go through that where you're just living a normal teenage life, you just gone to
Mhm.
school, you're doing your education, you're doing your exams, and then you just find yourself in this position where you don't have a home. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's mad, like genuinely mad.
Genuinely, like I remember being like, oh, my bedroom. Like I actually got
Yeah.
really I was having a long chat with what there's a long list of mums in my network now. But one of the first mums that like looked after me from my one of my brother's friends at the time that I stayed with because I moved from like sort of the north of England right down to an area I'd never even heard of in my life down near Brighton.
Wow. That's a huge
They,
move.
yeah, that was quite hard in itself. I remember being like, oh, I just want to be home. But
Mm,
it was for me, again, it's going back to confidence. Like it was that I felt, I don't know, what was it? Maternal instinct. It was a primal sort of
mm,
feeling of like being away from, your mom, your parents. I was like, it was so primal, like waking up every day, like crying. Like I'm not even like it's genuinely I'm saying this and part of me is like, oh my God, like it sounds like I'm just making it up. I'm not like
mm.
every day in that summer while my friends were doing their exams. I was meant to be in that hall too. And instead I was freaking like looking at several job applications, working at Millets, like the JD
Oh
Sports.
gosh.
I would have to put like a hilarious spin on it. I was working there like full time, and then I had a bar job, which was like my first job, like part time. So I did that like till 2 o'clock, like on some of the evenings. So I was just like,
Gosh.
can I catch a break? But back then, like you said, fight or flight, it was like, what was the first thing I have to do? I have to start supporting myself. And how can I do that? Okay, I need to make some money. I need to work. Like just think primal, like
Yeah.
what do I have? A shelter, I need to make money, I need to eat. So
Mm.
yeah. I
That's
know this is so
madness.
heavy, but
No, no, generally, like I find this whole thing just interesting because, yeah, like I said before, at that age, you're supposed to just be living a normal teenage life, not being out homeless. Like it's absolute madness. So obviously, like your whole life turned upside down.
Mhm.
And how did you then end up in Cambridge University? Like, how did you get to that point? Like, it's just
Oh,
madness. And the fact that
goodness.
obviously you were looking for jobs when everyone
Yeah,
else
for
was
sure.
doing exams and stuff. And it's like Cambridge is an elite university. Like, how did you
How?
do that?
Honestly, Emma, the short answer is luck, perseverance, self-belief, confidence. That's the short answer. But they say, I'll just throw in a quote because it's what we say in property, like it's by Seneca, it's an ancient philosopher. I'm nerdy classicist here, but he says that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And if you
Love that.
prepare enough, you know, even if it's like in one direction, if you meet the right opportunity, then so that's my short answer. Um,
Love that.
but just to, answer and address your question. So just going back to the homeless bit. So luckily, like I did have a place to stay. So I think my old school, just to sort of lay the foundations, they actually I'm not gonna say who they are, but I ended up being put in a homeless shelter for it was thank my lucky stars to this day, it was just a night.
Right.
But that was when I got whizzed down by my brother's friend, and then I ended up staying just, it was in like a little cupboard under the stairs. I'm so grateful. I don't,
Oh,
some people are like, really, you do that? I'm like, I'm
like
so
Harry Potter.
grateful. I know. Especially because I was, I want to study like classics at uni, and yeah, that's felt very Harry Potter. But that summer, so it was 2018, and I was working, and one day, my like the family I was staying with and my brother, who was a big part of this whole journey in my life, I owe it to him. Thank you, Charles. He had like a chat with them while I was at work one day, and it was essentially about getting my head screwed on for like what's next, because obviously we had that summer to like sort myself out, sort of emotionally ride that wave. But realistically speaking, what was I like? I've always been quite ambitious, just like family led, and
Yep.
just I don't know, it's always come from here and not from someone saying you should do this.
Yeah.
But I wanted I wanted to be like a classics teacher at the time. I
Ah.
know, it's so different. But I was so like,
Wow.
I still am so passionate about it. And they were like, right, even though I was 18, again, this isn't the norm. Like, I want to go back to school at
My God.
18, 19, 20. And you know what? It actually happened. So that chat was about shortlisting schools nearby or across the country that I could apply
Right.
for. But obviously, being 18 and then turning 19, 20, I'm classed as a mature student. And most schools go up to 18 in this country, in the UK. So, you know, I remain again, I'll keep going again, confidence. But like, I had a mission. It was like I couldn't focus on anything until I knew that, okay, well, am I going to go to school? Like, can I
Mm.
learn my subject? I was reading books part time, outside of work, doing like Latin vocab. I know this sounds it's wild, but then eventually one school out of all of them, it's actually an all girls boarding. I won't say the name, but I'm heavily like personally, soul, body, and emotionally indebted to Forever for their help. That school is actually private as well. Like genuinely, the odds were not in my favor here. But they called me for an interview. So obviously I turned up without my parents.
Yep.
Just dress smart, shirt and
Yep.
sixth form outfit. And it was like August, so that time teachers were getting ready for school. And then I just based my head teacher, I just said, just got me a cup of tea and explain everything. So I just, in my head, I had that thought. And please, if you seriously, Emma and anyone listening to this, oh my God, I genuinely feel like this would help someone, like what I'm going to say. But I literally had at the back of my head, I could be really scared here, or I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
All I have to do is be honest about every single thing, even the like horrifying stuff that's happened.
Mm.
And if she likes it, great. But if not, that's my story. And that's when
Mm.
I started taking charge, like emotionally. So that gave me the confidence to just say everything on my plate. And then she was like, I'm glad you did that. And then 2 weeks later, I got a letter, like on my email saying that I'd been granted like 100% scholarship
Oh my gosh.
day, just because they saw, the potential. For
Yep.
them, it was an investment if I do the 2 years till 20. I told them like, I know I'm homeless right now and I'm staying at a friend's, but um I got asked the question if we could get you like, I know this sounds so crazy. Oh my God. I keep disclaimering everything I say because I just feel like it's so crazy. But if we could, if you could leave this school in 2 years with 3A stars and you go to Cambridge, like what would you say? And I was just like, in my head, I thought, you think that I can do that? That I can say that. I was just like, had to be really composed. So I was just like,
Yep.
honestly, that would change my life. And it's not, Emma, it's why I'm feeling uncomfortable. Sorry, I'm just going on loads. It's because there's such a stereotype around, oh, like grades and everything, and academics, and
Mm.
to this day, I'm not. for me, that's not the path I went down in the end, but sort of rode its course. But like for me, that was much more about the people I met, the experience, and the story that I can pass down to other people, as opposed to
Mm.
just, yay, I got a nice scorecard. So that's, just to
Yeah.
round that. So yeah, just to tie that up, the 2 years of sixth form passed and I boarded. So
Yeah,
had
somewhere to stay.
somewhere to stay. Yeah. Yay. Well, I actually met a really lovely, lovely, lovely family. Another one who the school put me in touch with because there was a little bit of like, you couldn't always stay at the boarding house. So again, that fear of, oh my God, what am I going to
Yeah.
say? Um, and then yeah, I COVID hit.
Mm.
So yeah, we had our mock exams to fall back on. Luckily, we took ours. So then those grades, thank God we sat them. That then paved the way, and then fortunately I got accepted for applying to Cambridge.
That's mad.
Oh my God, sounds so crazy saying that.
That is actually mad.
So crazy. Oh,
That is crazy. And the fact that like people, there's a lot of people out there that have ambition to obviously go to Cambridge, and it's like I've never been a university person. I've always been more of a hands-on kind of person. I've never been the academic, I've always been the creative.
yeah.
And for me, like school was a completely different experience for me. I felt like I was kind of let down by my school because I was a creative person. I was never an academic, and because I said I never wanted to go to uni, it was almost like I was dropped like that.
Really?
Um, yeah, so I had to kind of find my own feet in that sort of way. But obviously there's a lot of people out there that do have ambition to go to places like, Cambridge, or, whether you've got I was trying to think of other schools, but no other schools are coming up into my brain. But
Like
or like,
UCL?
yeah, or like even Loughborough, if you like sports
Oh,
and things
yeah.
like that, like those sort of universities are obviously a lot more elite universities. And the fact that you didn't even know that you were going to go to Cambridge, and the fact that obviously by being homeless has pathed you in that way to have obviously gone to somewhere like that. And I think that's just incredibly powerful in that way that, yeah, you could have gone down a dark path and you could have gone off the rails and all sorts, but actually you felt like school is the place I need to be, and to keep you
Oh,
grounded. And
that's exactly how I felt.
yeah,
Emma.
I mean,
Oh
like even myself, I've been to
gosh.
so many colleges after I left school
Right.
because I knew that I always wanted to do something in fashion. So
Oh,
that was why I like went to London and I went to colleges in London, because for me that was like my expansion. That was the place I wanted to go to better my life.
yeah.
And obviously for you, that has been a massive life-changing experience for you to be able to go to this boarding school and be like, right, you're going to Cambridge, and that self-belief that you have in yourself is undeniable, and you've got to keep that going through the whole entirety of your life.
Oh gosh.
Because
Oh.
self-belief is like probably one of the biggest things I think anyone could ever have, and it's very hard to
Right
have
back at
that
you.
thing. But
Yes.
yeah.
Right. Honestly, right back at you. And that's amazing to hear about, that your experience from school, but then you took ownership of that.
Mm.
And then, you followed and you let what was running through my mind then was you let your heart run wild and your creativity run free,
Yeah.
like unchained, like you just went for
Yeah.
it. And that,
I always like say to people as well, like I always say this, if you don't like the situation, you have the control and you have the power to change it. Yes,
Mhm.
okay, things throw like life throws stuff at you, but
Yeah.
you have that control and you can change that situation. And I always, hand on heart, believe in those sort of things because, you know, it's your life. You've got the power to do whatever you want with it. So yeah, and I feel like that's just such a humbling moment for you that you had that control and you had that power. Yes, certain things were out of your control, but you
Mhm.
changed it because that's what you wanted for your life,
Yeah.
which is just incredible. So, obviously, going from Cambridge University, how did you get into being an entrepreneur and becoming a six-figure business owner. Can we just emphasize that? Six-figure business owner at the age of 24. It's insane. How?
My heart is like just saying all of this. I'm like, flipping heck. This the past few years, it hasn't been 6 years. It's felt like flipping 60. Tell you that now. Oh my God, no, thank you. Just so much. I'm just so grateful, like, to even be here talking about this. And oh my God, I mean, firstly, there were a lot of questions about, see, having said that in the academic route, about why I haven't followed through what, you know,
Hmm.
there was a big investment that was made, and obviously I absolutely put my all into that to achieve it. But then once I'd actually got, and you may have heard this from other people who've been at uni or whatever, but once I'd got to Cambridge and like fulfilled that aspiration I'd had for so long, and I've got my favorite subject here that my parents always like, it's a dead subject. What can you do with Latin and Greek? But I was like, oh no, mythology. um
Do you know what? I
I
studied at A level. I studied
No,
classics at A level, yeah.
no, you didn't. Wait,
Yeah.
now you say.
Yeah, but I was terrible at
Really?
it and I failed. But
No way.
yeah,
Oh my God, did you enjoy it?
I did actually. I did enjoy it. But
Oh,
yeah,
as it?
obviously failed it. But
Listen,
yeah.
I can see that because classic's quite creative, so I can see
Mm.
that flow.
Yeah, a lot of
No way.
philosophy and everything like that. So yeah,
Yeah. No,
quite deep.
it is deep. Plato, Aristotle.
Yep.
But oh my God. Yeah. So for me, it was actually owe controversial says. I owe like the opportunity. I need to word this right. I owe the opportunity that COVID and lockdown
Hmm.
gave to me. Obviously, everyone's had different experiences, but again, like I was presented with a choice. Like, we in our accommodation we had, see, that was my home, so majority of people went home, so I was a lot of time on my own. But in that time, I don't know about yourself, during that era there were a lot of like online webinars. um
Yeah.
like, my eyes were essentially open to the world of business through that lockdown era in like 2021 early.
Hmm.
um I think it was like the Young Entrepreneurs Summit or Young Employee Summit. I don't
Okay.
know. It was something by Victor Sasanya. And I just attended that online. It was all to do like with running. I think, have you heard of Lydia Violetta, the YouTuber? Um,
Don't know.
she was like basically an academic YouTuber, and she was all about personal brand in
Oh.
2021. And I was like, okay, right. I was like, oh, what's a personal brand? That's when I started, like, my eyes were open to like the online
Love
world.
it.
That's that year I actually met online our business coach as well.
Okay.
Like, FYI, big FYI. But yeah, so I was like, what even is entrepreneurship? I think the last time I heard of it was like in a textbook in history in like year 7, and the textbook made it look bad. It was like, don't do that because you're relying on getting your own money. Literally,
Oh, right.
literally.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. Oh my God, I feel like I'm saying so much. I want to stay on track for you. But yeah, so that was all about like personal brand and building online. And at the time I was like, oh, I'd love to do like, oh, that sounds so cringe. I'd love to do like influencing, like I'm in Cambridge, like taking a photo or like, little fashiony shots. Just let my creativity run a bit. And that was the first mark of, hang on, I'm not exactly making money from that, but that was like me putting my voice out there. It was like independent thinking, like using Instagram as a journal a bit more. So a few months later after that, in 2021, I was coming up to exams, and my brother Charles, he actually invited me. I remember, he invited me to this like property webinar for free.
Okay.
It was someone selling something, but I was just like, I have zero interest because I've never, I'm doing a classics degree here at Cambridge.
Yeah.
Why are you joining me?
It's like worlds apart with each other.
I know, literally. And then I literally replied going, you know what? I've thought about it, because I said no at first. I've thought about it, and I'm gonna join because I'm gonna take the mick out of seeing you on video. I just want to join to be able to wave at him and smile. Genuinely, I'm that person. No, so yeah, I attended. I did find it boring 'cause how am I meant to know anything when I'm not educated on it?
Yeah.
And then like it was sort of Emma, I'll tell you now, that was a seed that was planted. Like that was a like big dig the soil, plant the
Yep.
seed moment. And then like that summer, bearing in mind I hadn't seen my brother in like 2.5 years at that point or so. He came because COVID and what happened. He
Mhm.
came down in Cambridge and we spent like a few days. Gave me, I don't know if you've heard the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, that book. There was another one, Grow Rich, Get Quick. I can't
Yep.
remember the name. Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, all about communication and basically like foundational business books. And I was just
Yeah,
like, oh, like what's all this?
yeah.
Because I was spending a lot of time on my own, I just read and read. It was Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which a lot of people you may have heard. That changed my life. I wouldn't be here speaking to you without that book. I know that sounds really cringe, but
Not at
genuinely,
all.
like seriously, even to this day, I'm like, okay, assets, liability, like it changes the way you think. So
Mm.
obviously, that was my big exposure to entrepreneurship, the books, my brother, um, property as well. That's how I sort of fell down that path because I was like, oh, influence it or like I sort of made a choice.
Yep.
Um, but then the thing is, so I finished my first year. I've not actually told anyone this. It's not that deep, but it kind of is.
Exclusive.
Yeah. I finished first year of Cambridge with a 2-1. So that your final result in third year for classics counts, but any of your other results don't. So I was like, oh nice, but it doesn't count. But I'm on track. But
Mhm.
then on track again, if you're down that path. I could not stop thinking about what it was like to be in business or having your own business or making money for yourself or just the creativity of it, like all Canva
Mm.
packs and stuff like that and colors. I was like, ooh. And obviously following our business coach online, a lot. Oh my God, she's had like a lot of like subconscious impact.
Mm.
Um, and then obviously following lots of property people and then in this my second year of uni in that summer actually like with we had a mentor at the time that was when I closed my first, it was a rent to rent deal on like a house of multiple occupancy in Norwich at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going into it a bit, but I wanted it so badly. I couldn't drive. I went on every bus, public transport to go on viewings and secure a deal. But for me, that was my biggest proof of concept of like, no matter how uni goes, no matter what grade I get, I've just made like my brother and I've just made 3 grand from like a property deal that we worked on. What am I doing? Like, obviously, this is no, like shame or anything, anyone to wanting to follow the academic path. But
Yep.
this was, I'm just speaking for myself, like that was when it clicked. Like, had a big vision board, like, goals. As much as I burnt myself out in third year and put my arse into my work, I really did. I actually ended up with a 2-2. I've not said that to anyone. That's so like, oh, I'm taking full ownership. And you know what? A lot of people were like, oh my God, that's such a, or like, that's not a 2-1, it's not a first. I don't give one. I
Mm.
really don't give one. That's sorry, I just thought I'd add that on because once my eyes were open to entrepreneurship, I couldn't, yeah, I couldn't
It's
look back.
almost like you couldn't stop thinking about it. Like once you'd seen that, and then it was just thinking, right, that's it now. Like that's what I want to do. That's the path I want to like go down instead. And you do see that sometimes where people do go to university and then they just completely do a 180 on their life and just go, actually, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And they think, actually, why do I want to study that when I don't really want to do that? But then you think as
Yeah.
well, even like some of the most amazing entrepreneurs out there, like some of them don't even have any grades. Like they left
Yeah.
school. I think it's like, is it Richard Branson that he doesn't have anything? Um, Alan Sugar,
Thinks
like,
a lot of people, there are more entrepreneurs without. I know
mm,
Ben Francis. Um,
mm,
actually, I feel like I'm being so like, oh, I don't know. I need to just get over myself and let myself like take some space. But
yes.
um, but I actually met him at Cambridge through an opportunity, but he didn't even finish uni, dropped out to do Gymshark, uh,
Wow.
which is just
There you
it's
go.
wow, but
I think that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily define you as a person, like grades or anything like that.
no.
Um, which is amazing. It's just your drive. It's you as a person and what you actually want out of life, and that's what's going to get you
100%.
far, not
100%.
necessarily the grades. Like, I think there's so much pressure with kids nowadays where it's like you've got to make sure you get your GCSEs, and
Yep.
I'm just a little
That's
bit
it.
like they're not the be all and end all.
Exactly.
It's not going to dictate your life. You could, like, I went to sixth form and I didn't even get any. I don't think. I think I
As
got
in,
D. I think I just got E's. I think I got two E's and a U. I think when I went to sixth form,
well,
it was almost like because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
yeah, no,
So
that's it.
I just
Like,
ended up picking random subjects which had nothing to do with
bless
like
you.
fashion or anything like that. But yeah, I think, yeah, there's so much pressure on kids nowadays where it's like, you need to make sure you do your GCSEs and
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where's the flipping, where's the self-love? Like, come on. Like, where's it's just, and again, what does that do for someone's confidence at a young age? Like yourself, what you said then, some people could walk away and feel like, oh, you know, I'm not very good at that. That must mean I'm not very good. Actually,
Mm.
no. Yeah,
Yeah,
you just haven't been given the chance yet
yeah.
to
And you just
show
haven't
what,
found your thing either. I think that's the
yeah.
thing as well. Like when you're young, and I think you have to make those decisions so like at such a young age. I mean, like picking
Mhm.
your GCSEs at like year nine. I mean, what are you like 13, something like
Yeah,
that at that
13,
age? And you
14.
think, how can you pick something that's going to dictate the rest of your life at that age? And
Oh,
it's, yeah, it's just
incredible.
a minefield, I think, because you don't really know what you want to do. And I always say that your 20s is for experimenting and it's for
Mhm.
finding what you want to do in life, and then your 30s is your reassurance of actually,
I
this
love
is who I
that.
am, this is what I'm doing. Um, so
I
yeah, I think
love
it's
that
just,
so
yeah, life
much.
is one big experiment.
Yeah, no, it is.
Trial and
It
error.
really is. It is because what I'd say to that is you do more of what works in the
Mm.
experiment and just do less of what doesn't.
Yeah. You just gotta
So
find your thing. And obviously you found your thing with property, which is obviously something that you had never in a million years thought you were gonna do. Since
no,
you
oh
wanted to
my
be a
God, no.
classics teacher, to go from that to being to going into property, which is madness. So obviously you've just had some incredible news recently that you have become a partner with Demax. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? And obviously, how did your confidence play a role in that?
Gosh, that's a really lovely question with the confidence as well.
Had to tie it
So
in.
yeah, no, absolutely. So both my partner Brad and myself are co-directors of the company, and we, oh my God. So we were in Dubai like just the other week, sort of for business, but also it's a lovely celebration of my 25th birthday.
Love that.
Really flipping grateful, like for so, just the experience. We did not expect to leave the holiday with that partnership. Like that was not, it was something that we felt it was an opportunity, but it
Mm,
was kind of like we were looking for something, but then it got answered. Um, Essentially, what happened was on the final night, we actually met. We were just going for a little walk down the boardwalk. Brad was like, "What do you want to do on the final night? Do you want to like have some drinks at the hotel? Because just quite chilled and
mm.
talk about business, or do you want to just relax like by the pool, go for a swim?" So I was just like, you know what, we hadn't been to the boardwalk, so we thought let's go for a walk. Like something inside of me, I couldn't explain it, just said let's go for a walk. And I checked this place out. And then we actually saw a pop-up store for Damac properties because in Dubai, their buildings, they're the leading private developer. So a lot of the buildings have Damac on them. So they had a
Yeah.
pop-up store.
Wow.
And we were like, oh, should we check that out in a second? Because bearing in mind, I was carrying a slushie and Brad had an ice cream. So we thought maybe we sit down, enjoy our little our food first, and then check it out. So we walked in and it was like a little sort of cubicle tent thing, pop-up
Okay.
thing, and got off a little cup of tea. And essentially, as soon as we walked in, like, I don't know if you've had this before, like, it was just a sense of, it was very calming, but
Mm.
just felt right. Like, it felt like couldn't anticipate what was coming next, but we had a little chat. We explained what we do. We also had a look at some plans of their developments on the table. And then before we know it, we actually got shuttled. A taxi was called and paid for, which was crazy for us to go down and meet at the headquarters for
Oh my
the
gosh.
branch manager to meet her. And we were like, yeah, like looking back, we actually mentioned to Brad's parents, they were a little bit worried. It was like, you shouldn't do that if you're abroad, you just get a random taxi and someone's called.
Yeah.
And looking back, we were like, oh my God,
Probably should not
okay.
have done that. Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. Yeah, probably shouldn't. But again, it was like energy and like we
Mm.
just felt right and everything was like, secure. So we got in the taxi, it was double checked and Brad kept looking out the window like to make sure because we're driving out the city and we were like, oh my gosh. And then we arrived and really beautiful, beautiful place. Remember there was like essentially Dubai, there's a lot of like marble, everything's really grand and white and polished, but
Okay.
lots of marble and all the developments there. They've got a lift right to the top of the building, and it was like a conference room. And um immediately, just to answer what you said about confidence, immediately like, posture, like posture change, like not I wasn't not being myself. It was like, for example, entering, I used to do a lot of singing exams. And
Mm.
again, it's funny how I draw back on, like, again, music for my confidence. But like, I wouldn't not be Cathryn. I'd be myself, but just be the examiner's there. So good impression, like smile. I'd always smile. I'm not gonna not be myself. But
Yeah.
and it was like, so I entered the room, got offered another drink. I was like, oh my God, the hospitality. They were always lovely in Dubai anyway, but really lovely. So I was like, you know what, go on. I would love a tea, thank you. Again, I was being authentic to me. I wasn't just gonna go no, because I don't want to put them out. Little psychological things like that. Like I'd love one, thank you. That was me affirming I'm being myself. And yeah, Brad and I, we had a chat. Like looking back, I'm like, oh my God, that would most people like do what we just did, like just spontaneously. And
Yeah.
the branch manager asked us questions what we do in the UK. And obviously they've got all this reputation, and we're like, we're here, like, hey. um, but we just literally had a chat. Like it was no, oh yeah, like bravado or anything. It was literally
Mm.
just, yeah, COA. Like we've helped with the rental side, and we provide hands-off investments for our investors. And we would love, if there's any way of working together and partnership. And then that was when, we're just authentic to what we do and our value as a company. And also what was magical was hearing the branch managers talk a lot about like sales and how they sell property. And in my head, I was like, no way. Like we do this like ourselves in our own way. So like you're not just selling, here's a property. It's the
Yeah.
lifestyle, it's the experience. Like
Yeah.
earlier on the call, it's how is someone going to feel after this? Like
Mm.
it can relax, and all the it's such an emotional, like it's a journey, it's an investment. And that for me, the confidence from that conversation came from, and apply this for business and just in life, listening, just actively listening, just sitting there. Obviously, I'm not silent, but listening. And sometimes Brad would speak and I'd just be like taking it in, and then the right time I'd say something that
Mm.
I'd add value. And then it's like you've just shown someone that you've been listening and that you care. So yeah, that was a big thing. And then obviously, yeah, we left, we got shuttled back. And then suddenly my brother turned over to me and said, "You do realize 9 months, 8, 9 months after launching the company, you've just become a partner, a channel partner." I'm just like, Emma, like,
What is life?
yeah.
Literally. That's mad. And the
So
fact it was just a spontaneous walk, and you
yeah,
just had this
spontaneous walk.
intuition to be like, let's just go for a walk.
Yeah,
And obviously that's what came out of it. That's just
yeah. We could have been
incredible.
like fun on like the holiday. Oh yeah, like let's just have some drinks, or not even, don't want to
Yeah.
drink, like let's just go for a swim or eat nice food.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, something inside is raring to go.
And always
But
listen to your gut.
mhm. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's incredible. And it's just amazing about your whole new partnership, which is just insane. Your whole journey is just
It's
insane.
just,
Um,
oh,
but yeah, just like obviously reflecting back on everything that you've been through, like obviously what got you through it? Like what actually helped to boost your confidence?
again, another amazing question. For me personally, because a lot of people have told me, my partner, like so many people have said, I don't know how you've gotten through what you've got through. But then that
Mm.
always makes me think of there's a quote or something out there like God wouldn't give you, because I'm quite spiritual,
Mm.
have become spiritual as well. Like God would not give you the hand that you've been dealt with if
You went,
you're there or she like
yeah,
didn't know that you were capable of getting through it or playing it. And that in itself is like a belief that I've had, like,
yeah,
okay, even like looking, there was a point, Emma, where I was walking back from like 2 in the morning from my bar job at 18, and I had like my millets job in the morning, and I was like looking at the stars, took a photo as you do. And I literally just looked up and went, there must be, I was like affirming my certainty that there must be something next, something
mm,
that's the reason I'm going through this. But for me, it was that overall like spiritual overarching belief of like umbrella of, okay, this is like it's divine timing or whatever you might call it.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's a reason. Um, everything happens for a reason. Um, and then um there was this is quite personal and random, but I had like a badge, I think it's over there, and my old Latin teacher from my old school gave it to me, and she kind of knew things were a little bit like challenging with home and stuff before getting kicked out, and it was in Latin for like it's like Fortuna, Sun. It was like basically what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but in
Mhm.
Latin from the Kelly Clarkson song. So I had that badge in my head, and I still do today. But biggest thing I could say is people and connections.
Mm,
People and connections. I would not have believed in myself if other people didn't believe in me.
yep,
It was like accountability, willpower, like, because I could be here and like, yeah, it was self-belief, it was willpower, it was confident. No, that's like philosophically speaking, like that's got to come from something else that ignites that. And for me, that
yep.
was friendships, connections, mums, parents. Yeah.
Love that.
So, and music, of course, my singing.
Obviously, music. No, I love that as well. I think the whole self-belief thing as well. Like I never had the self-belief in myself. And then it wasn't until like my partner or like my mum and it, it would be like, you can do this. And it was obviously the more and more that they said that to me, it was like, yeah, actually I can do this. And then the more and more people you speak to, and obviously like we're in the same membership, so we're surrounded by a lot of people that obviously are business owners, and putting
Mhm.
yourself in that environment is only just going to boost your confidence so much more. It's just
Especially as
literally
a female.
finding, yeah, literally just like you're finding your own tribe pretty much. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, but the whole like spiritual thing though, like I always believe that the universe puts an idea in your head and you've got to go for it because it was put in your head for a reason. And I had that instinct when I was like first wanting to start business. Um, I would start with personal styling, and I thought there is a reason why this is in my head, and therefore I should stop putting it off and actually just go for it. And I think, yeah, your path is almost like created for you, but it's up to you whether you take that path or not. Um, yeah, I do slightly believe that. I was never a spiritual person before, but I feel like I've got more into it,
Oh
um, which is
gosh.
crazy. But yeah, so for anyone who is listening right now or watching right now, like hello, and is struggling with their confidence, what top tips would you give them?
Make sure that whatever it is, whatever situation you're in now, and however you feel, and however hard or easy or whatever it may feel, please just listen to your voice, listen to what's coming from you, and try not to, you'll have influences from the outside and from other people, and even from people they care about you, you care about them. And but at the end of the day, the only person that can make the best decision for you is yourself. And that's guided by your previous decisions and what you've done before, or, even if it's something that's completely new and you're taking a risk, that risk has been presented for you for a reason. And sometimes the best thing you can do, for better or for worse, I don't know, it sounds so biblical, for better or for worse, that that will shape you. And there's always a lesson on an education front. There's always a lesson to be learned. So yeah, it would be just listen to your own voice and don't let it be clouded and other people's opinions.
I love that so much. Literally, listen to your
Oh,
gut. Your gut is the thing that
I
is
love
going to
stuff
guide
like
you.
this.
I love it. Literally, that
Oh,
is probably the best advice I think obviously you can give to anyone. Yeah, definitely don't get clouded by other people because it can change the way you like your path you're going to go on or anything like that. So yeah, listen to yourself because at the end of the day, you are with you for the longest and
mm,
you have to be
that's
happy
so,
with yourself. So yeah,
gosh, that is
love
really
that.
deep, Emma, really
Yeah,
deep.
that was deep, wasn't it?
That is true. Gosh, yeah.
That was a little
Like,
bit deep, wasn't it?
wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, yeah, but no, this was absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for obviously coming on to the podcast.
thank you for
If
inviting me
oh, thank you.
so
If anyone
much.
obviously wants to come and find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, of course. So my main Instagram is just Cathryn, Cathryn, so weird spelling, Cathryn Olivia. I'm also on Facebook for property as well, and or COA investments on Instagram.
Amazing. I'll put them all in the show notes anyway, so people can come and find you. But
Amazing.
yeah, this has been incredible talking to you and love learning more about your story. It's just been amazing, and you are a remarkable person. Literally, you are
Likewise.
amazing. So yeah,
Oh,
thank
thank
you
you.
obviously so much for coming. Well, obviously being on the screen.
Yeah. Oh no, honestly, Emma, thank you so much for just this opportunity to be able to tell my story. It's just like, thank you so much for, yeah, for letting me do that and take up space. I
You're so
appreciate
welcome.
that.
You
It's
are
something that
so
I find
welcome.
quite hard. So yeah, I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
I think sometimes you need to reflect back on yourself, don't you, and think, actually, this is what I've achieved. I'm
Mhm.
incredible at what I do. And yeah, it's one of those humbling situations I think that you can be in is just sharing your story and just inspiring people. So yeah, incredible. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, so I will see you all in the next episode.